Uh, Philip Kiboijana Simo is my name, and of course, as many have known, I am running for presidency for Uganda Rugby Union in the coming election. Well, I would say my attraction is not to the URIU office. My attraction is to the game of rugby. And of that, it's a journey of passion that is hard to explain, from football officiation to rallying, where I was a bit involved as well as chairman of a steering committee in one of the negotiations with drivers. But furthermore is my journey in sport, from Guardian Angels project to Fan Zone to Kyadondo Rugby Club, where I was vice chairman for 2 terms, to the local organizing committee. And over the years, I learned a lot about the game, a lot about the administration, so the gaps we needed to fill, and played my part within the structure. But it is at that point that I believe I can offer more to the sport. We are looking at it wholesomely, and this is running off 4 pillars, starting with structures. And when I speak structures, I'm speaking from the HQ, the EXCOM, the clubs, because if we don't put these structures right, we will not have the development we require, we will not have the pathways we will require, we will not have that journey that we are walking that is well planned and well strategized. But beyond that, of course, we can't leave out development and growth, and again, the entire ecosystem, from players to officials to societies all around the sport. But then moving further, accountability. And accountability, we are not talking about money, but we are talking about even being accountable to the people that put you in those offices. So how do you come back and say, in the first quarter of the year, yes, you might have a 4-year strategy, but year in, year out, every quarter, update what you've achieved, what you failed on. If you had a target of 10, were the 7 done and are the 3 pending, and what is in it for the next quarter? But basically to walk this journey with all the stakeholders. People, if I can put it in the one word. So have the right people in the right places to do the right things, because everything we are trying to achieve is driven by people at the end of the day. And if we do not get the right people, and we are just not talking about being qualified in terms of training alone, but what's the passion, what's the integrity, what's the drive of these people? And if we have the right people in the right places, it drives whatever we want to do. So it is people first. So first of all, I would disagree with people who believe the current regime has totally failed. It has not. And of that is also to respect the journey that rugby has been on since it started in Uganda, the different people who have put up their hands to contribute in the different offices. It has its challenges, agreed, but it wasn't a failure, and that is why it's a true pronged approach for this. One is we are looking at what we can improve that's working, and 2, we are looking at what we need to start doing to get growing and better. So I wouldn't sit and point and say they failed at this. No, I would focus on improvement and growth. So it's not just Victoria Cup last year that was cancelled. There was the Elgon Cup as well. And yes, as involved as chairman of the local organizing committee for those internationals, as the committee, we were mostly implementing on ground level. We were not at policy and at negotiation and the conversations between the different unions. So even us were caught off guard in a way that one of the games was cancelled only 10 minutes after I'd done an interview talking about the game. But it opened our eyes to some of the needs for growing structures, because that shows operational weakness. If it was a proper system with the right people doing the operations, this is something that should have been caught early. A red flag, say 3 weeks to the game. So it was unfortunate. And of course, of that is, I don't know if the funds were refunded, because that is again a thing that was handed at Union HQ level, and I have no idea, but unfortunately that did happen. It is good that you bring this up. So in all we do, player welfare should be prioritized. So beyond even just better remuneration, things like medical, feeding should all dictate our actions. Yeah. But even further, we're talking about need to elevate player profiles. We have to position them for them to have opportunities to even go big and play outside there. But also back to the point is they have to be paid more, but most importantly is they have to also be paid on time. But this is not, we understand the need, we understand the crucial importance, and it's one of the key things in the structure that you have to position and say, look, it might need this much, but we don't have to wait to get there. We can start walking the journey about speaking about contracting these players and contracting them long term, and of that you look at sourcing the funds to pay for those contracts. So it is a priority that I will have to the team I'll be working with. It is something we will look at prioritizing. So in terms of growing the game beyond the regions mentioned, Entebbe, Jinja, Kampala, one is we look at it wholesomely, not just the players, but the entire ecosystem, the administrators, the officials, the referees in these areas. And you want to build depth across the board. So, for example, when you're looking at collaborations, different regions that are ahead, those that are back, and not just within Uganda, but even outside of Uganda, how do you build capacity that will help us deal with all those issues we've been grappling with over the years that have kept us stagnant in some of these places? So it has to be a strategic approach to it. One of the things we are mentioning is working with communities, schools in these regions, and picking key places that we see are growing fast and saying, how do we support them? And we use those as the driving goals and examples to develop other areas.